Hi, everybody. It's good to be here today. I just finished a podcast speaking a little bit about how to deal with setbacks, just all the setbacks that are coming to all of us. And I decided that I wanted to do something in the kitchen to talk to you a little bit about food. And if that is becoming a setback for you and it's creating a setback because you're not following your food, I just want to give you a really simple regimen that I do and try to help you to understand that no matter what the current circumstances are or what amount of setbacks you're dealing with, you can stick with your food. And I just posted a Facebook Live where I talked about dealing with setbacks, so many of you will hear and understand some of the things that I've encountered over the course of the past month, and yet I've still diligently stayed committed to being on my food. I'm a health coach for a living, so I work with people by phone and in person. Of course, right now it's just been by phone to answer, all questions in regards to how to live the healthiest lifestyle possible. And food is paramount for being able to have a strong immune system. And so what I keep hearing people say is, well, with everything that's going on, I just really haven't been able to maintain my health or maintain my plan. All right. So it's not diet. I just haven't been able to stay committed to clean eating with everything that's going on. That's what people are saying. And I just don't particularly have a great deal of patience through those circumstances, because if your want to is strong enough, you can stay on track with your food no matter what the setbacks are or no matter what the circumstances are. One thing I can say, and what I did say in my previous message today regarding setbacks, is that if your food is not on point and you are not making clean eating a focus, then you will struggle with setbacks and your mind will not be clear enough to be able to focus on this. So at some point you have to pull the trigger and you have to say, today's the day I'm making a change. Every meal that I have, it's going to be pure ingredients. There's not going to be any poison in those ingredients. So yes, there have been setbacks lately. Yes, there have been circumstances that have been way beyond our norm. Yes, we're homeschooling our children. Yes, we are living out of our house and not leaving our house, okay? But the reality of that is if you look at it, you actually do have the opportunity to get in touch with your health a little bit. I'm not going to say you have more time, because I can tell you right now, I haven't had more time this entire time. I haven't taken a single day off since we shut down. So you don't necessarily have more time, but you have the precedence that if you want to feel well and you want to protect your immune system, you have to secure your diet and you have to make the diet a priority. It truly has to be something that you say, I'm not going to tell myself any more lies as to why I can't stay committed with my food. I'm going to stay committed on my food. Now, I'm going to show you what I eat in a day, and I'm not going to suggest that you eat that. I'm just going to show you what I eat in a day and how through every setback there's been in the past 3 weeks, and there have been a lot of them, and how short our financial supply has been, and all of the different circumstances that we've dealt with, I've still been able to stay committed to my food because I made it a priority. Mentally, it was a priority in knowing that if I'm going to protect my body and I'm going to protect my health, I have to protect it by controlling what I'm bringing in it and not being willing to make exceptions for poison to come in. Okay, so what I typically do every day is I wake up and I fast. So I will actually fast until usually noon from any type of solid food. Now, there are some times that I even fast from any form of calories, and sometimes I just drink water. But I don't consider it a complete fast if I'm going to have any calories. So that might not be your opinion, but in my opinion, I feel I break the fast if I bring calories in. So what I typically do is wake up, drink plenty of water, and then kind of middle of the morning, I go to make myself a coffee. And that coffee that I make, I use a Nespresso machine, Nespresso, and it really makes amazing coffee. And I make a decaf. I don't even do a caffeinated coffee. So I do a coffee, and then I have a little milk frother, and I put some unsweetened vanilla coconut milk in there. And then I also take 1 scoop of the Vital Proteins collagen, which is totally unflavored. You don't have to do it unflavored, that's just what I do. And then I take a tablespoon of this brain octane oil, which is MCT oil. It's C8 MCT oil. And so I take a tablespoon of that. And then I take a little bit of my pure stevia and I put that in a blender. I blend all that up, and that's usually how I start my day. Sometimes I won't even do that. Sometimes I'll just drink coffee all the way up until I'm going to get ready to eat. And then after I have that first meal, I'll have my first cup of coffee in addition. So my first meal, how do I prepare it? What is it? How have I been able to stay on track with it, even though the world has literally almost crumbled down around me, and yet I've still managed to stay on my food? I've managed to do it because I made it a priority. I went to the grocery store, I bought the right items. I'm obviously having to make some exceptions because some of the things that I normally get are not available, but I'm finding out what those exceptions can be. So for an example, for my first meal, I have my grass-fed beef, and what I do is I take this beef and I brown it in my big skillet here, my big iron skillet, and I brown 3 pounds at a time. And then what I do is I put them in little round Pyrex dishes, and I only do 3-ounce servings. So I do 3 ounces of the beef, I put a little bit of my Whole Foods 365 Dijon mustard on top of it, and then I have these 2 bowls worth of vegetables. So if you can see, this is the serving size of vegetables that I have. This fills me up. This is cooked cabbage. This is riced cauliflower, riced broccoli, and carrot mix. And so what I do is I take this large iron skillet, and if you can see, all of these frozen bags that are in here, all of those bags are actually cooked at one time. I put them in the skillet when they're frozen. So I don't even cook them ahead of time. I just throw them in my skillet frozen, and I just start moving them around the skillet. And I usually do 2 skillets at the same exact time. So I will cook this amount of vegetables all at one time in one skillet, and that amount of vegetables all at one time in the other skillet. Now that's all that will fit on my stove, is those 2 iron skillets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bags of frozen vegetables. So I can cook 10 bags of frozen vegetables at one time, sauteing. I could be baking them in my ovens as well, but I really like the taste when I can brown them in the skillet, so I'm patient with it, and I just use the stove, the stovetop. I use the olive oil that I get from Whole Foods, and some of these vegetables, they're not, they're not offering the organic version at Fresh Thyme right now. I can't find it. So this is rice, broccoli, and cauliflower mixed. I'm getting it at Schnucks because I can't find it at Whole Foods or Fresh Thyme. Now at Whole Foods, I've been getting the organic rice cauliflower, and then sometimes I get organic carrots at Whole Foods as well. However, Schnucks also has been having carrots. Some of them have been organic, some of them are not. I wish they could all be organic, but unfortunately I just can't find them. I used to have Whole Foods set aside a certain amount of vegetables for me every week, and I would just pay for them by the case. And I can't do that anymore because unfortunately they are not able to do that. And I fully understand that, but I'm not making exceptions and making poor choices just because of the situation. Oh, well, they can't get me my vegetables, so I'm just gonna blow it and have a hamburger and french fries tonight because they can't get me my vegetables. There's businesses are shutting down, the government's not giving me any money, I'm not gonna eat my food. I'm just gonna eat pizza. You just can't think that way. You just can't live that way because it's going to impact you in so many other ways. You're going to feel sick. You're not going to be clear-headed the next day when you need to make more, different decisions. You've got to understand that you have to make this food a priority. So that would be my first meal, and I would have that around noon. And then at around 3 o'clock, I'm going to repeat a serving of those vegetables. I've got my big stock pot here, and what I'll do is I will take 4 bags of this coleslaw mix. Again, this isn't organic. just happened to go to Whole Foods this week and they were completely out of this coleslaw mix. So I went to Schnucks. I go to Whole Foods at one point of the week and Schnucks at the other part of the week. We have old dogs, so we buy them certain things to put in their food. So unfortunately, we have to go twice a week to be able to do that so that we can feed them what they need so that they eat their food and stay healthy. So I use this big stock pot. I put 4 bags of this in there. I get my olive oil, I get my Dijon mustard, I get my stevia and my sea salt and pepper. I mix it all in there, put the lid on, I walk away from it and just forget it. I will have a stock pot with this much cooked cabbage in it, and it's delicious and it's very filling. Now, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I have a choice. I want to get some protein in, but I don't want to eat meat again. So at this point, I'm only eating 3 to 6 ounces of meat a day if I have it. So when I do my cabbage and when I do my vegetables, I usually grab my lemon, cut it in half, and I use my juicer, my lemon juicer, and I throw it in my big old jar, my big old mason jar, and I put a scoop of that collagen in there, and I put some of my stevia in there, and I basically make a handmade lemonade with a bunch of ice, and it is so good. It's such a great refreshing treat that I'll do in the afternoon, especially if John squeezes the lemon, because he like pulverizes the lemon and I get like an incredible amount of lemon juice from it. So one day I want to buy one of those electronic lemon juicers because those look awesome and that would just make it go by even faster. But for now I'm using John because he's home. So in the afternoon, that's what I'll do. I'll have that scoop of the collagen and then I'll have those vegetables with it. All right. So when you think about it, if I've had the scoop of the collagen in the morning and if I've had the scoop of the collagen in the afternoon and I had that 3 ounces, I'm already at 20 ounces at lunchtime, and I'm already at 18 ounces, 20 grams at lunchtime, and 18 grams of protein within those 2 scoops. That's 48 grams of protein. I do not believe that a person needs to overconsume on protein, and I in fact believe that you can have just the same insulin response from too much protein as you can from too many carbs. I also believe that for me, when I overconsume on it, number one, if it's meat, it can cause oxidative stress and I end up with inflammation. If it's just too much protein, I don't stay lean. I don't look overweight, but I look full. I look very muscular. Everything looks kind of filled out. And it's not separated the way I like things. So I don't like to overconsume on protein. So what that leaves me with is for dinner, I'm left to really only want to have about another 8 to 10 grams of protein. Now, please understand that some of that protein is going to be in my vegetables. So I'm going to get that. So I don't always have to have meat in order to get that. Usually maybe 2 days out of the week, I will have meat with my dinner because they're strenuous days. I know I still have a long night ahead of me, and I know that that meat is really going to give me the vitamins and the minerals that I need to be able to push through that day. And in addition, I may have actually really done a lot of physical activity and I truly physically feel like I need it, okay? Now, there are other days that that's not the case. And so I want to have at least, maybe 4 to 5 days out of the week where I'm only having meat once a day. That's how I do it. That's what works best for my body. Then I'll probably have those 2 days where maybe I'll go ahead and have it twice. And I even attempt to do 1 day out of the week where I don't have it at all. And I actually have a low protein day and I fast through a good portion of the day. And I may actually add some broth, and broth might be the only way that I would get protein in. Now, that's a pretty crazy way of eating, okay? I do not expect any of you at home to do this. None of you. Now maybe you'll make the vegetables in the iron skillet, and maybe you'll make the cabbage the way I suggested, and maybe you'll decide that you're gonna kind of have 1 day where you don't do as much protein or 1 day where you only do meat. I don't expect any of this out of anyone, But what I'm trying to show you is no matter what the circumstance has been, no matter how late I've had to stay up to do paperwork, to find tax documents, to fill out more applications, to send messages to everyone I know, or to spend 12 hours in a kitchen baking, or to spend 10 hours in my car delivering the baked goods, this food was with me. Before I went to bed and said I'm too tired from filling out the tax forms, I'm not going to make my vegetables tonight, I didn't do it. Everyone in my house sometimes falls asleep before me and I'm still in here making vegetables. You have to do what you need to do to set yourself up for a successful body and a successful day. And if you're not willing to equip yourself by setting yourself up with the right foods, you're going to go through life never really truly achieving the level of health that I know in my heart God's intended for you to feel. I have felt that, but I've also felt great sickness, so I know the difference. But you have to make the decision on your own that it's going to become a priority. It's you. No one can do it but you. You can hire me and I can give you great ideas. You can hire a trainer and they can inspire you to work hard enough and to make this a priority. But at the end of the day, no matter how many things come at you, you are the one that has to say, the only way I'm going to be strong tomorrow is if I make the time to make this food. The only way I'm going to make and be equipped to make the right decisions tomorrow is if I take the time to go to the store and get the food that I need. If they're out of something, I'm not going to get a bad thing. I'm going to make another choice. I'm going to buy asparagus instead of the broccoli. I'm going to buy something different. I'm going to buy kale and spinach instead of the coleslaw mix. There's something else that you can choose. But if you're choosing the bad over the good, you're going to continue to get that same result of poor health. And what that's ultimately going to end up doing is driving you absolutely crazy, because doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is just chaos. I mean, it's insanity, basically. You have to make a commitment to say, today's the day that I will change things. Today's the day that I will set forth a new plan. I don't care how bad you ate this morning. I don't care how bad you ate at lunch. Make a clean dinner. Make a plan for tomorrow. What will you eat tomorrow? Look in your refrigerator. Find something that doesn't have a paragraph's worth of ingredients and cook it. And when you're cooking for your family, make them the same exact priority. You are creating your child's immune system by everything that you put in them right now. Right now is when it gets created. If you keep feeding them foods that their body does not recognize, their immune system will suffer for the rest of their life. And then that's when autoimmunity comes. So please make feeding your children whole food, real food, clean food, the priority in your home. Don't make your children the excuse for why you cannot eat clean. Make them the reason for why you do eat clean. You're the leader of the household. If you eat it in front of them, they will know that it is a priority. They will understand the importance of it. Only you can set that precedence. Only you. I mean, they can get around some healthy people, but the likelihood of that is low. They're probably going to get around unhealthy people a lot more than they're going to get around healthy people. So you be the one that shows them. You teach them how to cook that food. You explain to them why they're eating that food. Help them to understand how their body digests that food. Help them to understand what creates allergies in their body. Help them to understand what causes different issues, different stomach aches, different issues that they're dealing with. Please teach them so that they can grow up and be a healthy adult. We're in control of that as parents, and we have to take responsibility for it. When you think about restriction, you don't want to think about a clean diet being restricting for you or for your children. You want to think of it as setting healthy boundaries. It's not restriction, it's boundaries. And God will give you the wisdom to know when you need to set those boundaries. And that terrible stomach ache, that awful headache, that terrible lethargy that you're feeling, and then that inability to get anything done or to focus in your brain is all signs and signals that He doesn't like the food that you're making, and you need to make a commitment to a different level with your nutrition. The way to protect you from getting disease and from taking on any new pathogens and viruses is by truly diving in and really focusing on eating whole food, real food, not processed meats, not processed sugars. Gluten and dairy need to be taken into consideration. High histamine foods like corn, sugar is just complete poison. Different types of food dyes. You have to take all of these items into consideration. Yes, this might seem overwhelming to you. What I explain and what I eat and the way I map it out, that's fine. You don't have to do it that way, but you have to do it your way, and you have to figure out what your way is. If you struggle with that, hire somebody. I'm not going to make you eat my way. I don't think I make a single person that I work with eat my way. What I'm going to do is create a plan that becomes your way, that works as a formula to make you and your family healthy, and also works within the parameters of your schedule and your lifestyle. It has to be easy and accessible. If it's not going to work for you. You're not going to stay consistent with it. I want you to understand that making exceptions for poisonous ingredients is not creating balance in your body. Balance is when you choose health over poison and you say, I will not continually poison my body. Now, I might make myself a healthy alternative. Maybe I'll come up with a creative keto dessert, or maybe I'll come up with a no sugar added dessert or something that's made with stevia. Sure, you can make a dessert that way. There's lots of options. There's so many different recipes on Pinterest and so many different cookbooks, so many different Whole30 options that you can do. That's creating balance. Yes, I still want to be able to have a healthy alternative, but I do not want to make exceptions, and I will not cause cellular death in my body by bringing in toxins and poison. And I certainly will not do it for my children. And due to me being the lead of my household and the one that's in control of establishing their immune system right now, I have to put my foot down, and I don't get to say, well, they don't want that, or they don't like that, or it's too hard because my kids get too upset. I get to say, I'm the leader of this household, and I have to make you healthy. It is my responsibility that you are healthy when you grow older. And right now, we're developing that body for you. So although it may not be your first choice, in time, you're going to grow to love these foods. You're going to grow out of having a pancake every day for breakfast and grow into having a protein muffin or a smoothie or a bowl of fruit and some scrambled eggs. You will teach them to get an acquired taste for that, just like you teach yourself. And you will change their life in the process, just like you change yours, and just like you will change your health. I have an incredible passion for this message, and I have that passion because God gave it to me. He saved my life, and He saved my life through food 20 years ago. It's the reason why I do what I do, but I watch people every day suffer. And the suffrage is in their hands. It's in their fork, and it's in their choices that they're making every single day. Their brain could change, their heart could change, their inflammation could change, the joint pain, the stomach aches, the skin issues, all of the things that they deal with could start to slowly change as they would start to make different decisions and different choices for their food. I pray blessing on you and your family. I pray that you will make healthy eating a priority, one choice at a time, one meal at a time. Take the poison out of your house. Rip the Band-Aid off. You're in control. You are in control of what you eat. It's the one thing that you can be in control of right now. There's so many things that we have no control over. This is the one thing. You can do something with this. You can make good choices every day, and it could change everything for you. I pray blessing, and I pray that you will truly let this sink in and make these correct choices, and I can promise you you'll see a lifelong change from it. God bless you, and thank you for listening.